There has been a lot of Inside Out 2 news that I have missed, and so I'm going to talk about all the stuff that I've missed for Inside Out 2 in the past almost 3 weeks now. Wow, here to the new characters to the Chinese trailer. But let's talk about it. First thing I want to talk about here is the three brand new characters that were shown. First one is named Bluefy, a 2D animated character from Riley's favorite childhood TV show, and asks questions to a non existing child audience. Now, there is 2D animation in the movie from what we've seen. The Chinese trailer actually has a scene where there's an explosion, and the explosion is 2D animated. And from the first 35 minutes that people saw over at CinemaCon, they said there's aspects of 2D and 3D mixed together. And it seems like with this character and another character that I'm going to be talking about in just a second seems to be no different. And I love how this is becoming much more common in animated movies, and it seems like Disney is going to be doing it a lot more in the future, which gets me very excited. The next new character here is Lance Slashblade, the PS2 animated character that's in the background. I do think that this is very funny as well that we have a character, like if you see the design right here, it does not look like any of the other characters, but the fact that he's from a video game, sorry, is very cool. In the description here it said, and funny fact, he was Riley's first anime crush, which that is very funny, and that should confirm to everybody that Riley is not gay in the movie. Not that that's a bad thing, but I know there was a lot of people saying that Riley may be gay in the movie due to her interaction with the new character Val in the movie. The design as well, I really love as well. The humanoid design, and it looks like a classic character from like a PS2 game, obviously, but like from an original arcade game as well. And I am really interested of how they're gonna have this character in the movie. They're probably just gonna be a quick cameo, and then you'll never see them really again, probably until the third movie. But this is a nice character overall, and I hope they make more merchandising off of them. The final new character here is Deep Dark Secret. We don't actually have a description for this character, but it looks just like Dark from Orion in the Dark. Funny fact, Dark was actually played by Paul Walter Haussler, who he's going to be playing Embarrassment in Inside Out 2 as well. So, I mean, maybe they're referencing Orion the Dark. Highly doubt it, though, because they probably made this design way before DreamWorks made that movie. But the design here does look very cool. It's just hard to not think about Dark instead of Deep Dark Secret, but I do like the name and the character. These three characters really seem like the unicorn and Jangles the clown from the first movie. Just these quick, weird, wild looking characters that you're only going to see for about 5 minutes, and then they're going to be gone immediately. Now, moving on to some of the little things that they said about the movie, they first said Inside Out 2 is all about acceptance, learning to love who you are despite your flaws. You don't need to be perfect in order to be loved. That is the foundation of the film. I love that as well because teenagers, I mean, it's always common that teenagers may not be the nicest and they may do things that are not good and that they're flaws and stuff, but that doesn't make them a bad person. And I hope they dive deep into that as well. And from this, like, description, it really seems like they're going to be going into that a lot. They also said that Inside Out 2 crew counts with 150 animators, the largest team of animators ever for a Pixar movie. That's kind of crazy since Elemental was like the most like hardest Pixar film to render because of all the elements. Finally, they said that Inside Out 2 has a runtime of an hour and 40 minutes. Not shocking that the movie is this short. I mean, most Pixar films are around an hour and 40 minutes, which is 100 minutes long. I believe the longest Pixar movie is Incredibles 2, which runs at almost 2 hours, but here, this is a good runtime for the movie. They don't need to make the movie like ridiculously long, like 3 hours. An hour and 40 minutes is just perfect. Before we talk about the Chinese trailer, there's actually merchandising that came out for the movie. We've got the Funko Pops, we've got the Anxiety doll, we've got the Lego sets, we've got an embarrassment plushie. Of course, we've got some of the T-shirts back then, but there's also a ton of books now. There's a lot of merchandising for Inside Out 2 now, and I hear some like idiots or some shills online that are like, "Oh, the Anxiety toy is offensive." I'm like, "No, it's really not." And all these people are overreacting about the toy and how it's offensive to people with anxiety just because you get to twirl the arm of anxiety. I don't know if that's actually offensive or not, but I think that these people that are saying that it is, I think it's kind of stupid. But the merchandising here looks great, and I love the theme of purple on the merchandising. But there's no pictures of embarrassment, envy, or ennui. It's just anxiety with a lot of reused renders from the previous movies. This merchandising looks great here, and these Funko Pops, I definitely want to collect every single one of these. Now we're going to start talking about the Chinese trailer. I'm not going to break down the trailer because a lot of the shots are not new, but what the new shots are, yes, I'm going to talk about those. First shot here is Fear, where he's like terrified because Riley is about to crash into someone during her hockey game. And I really love this shot as well, seeing the control panel like change. And I heard that the beginning of the movie is going to see us getting reintroduced to our old characters. We see Sadness next, which it seems like this is after the demolition team has completely destructed and ruined everything since it's daylight. It's daytime now, and all the characters are in their pajamas, and we see this shot of Riley getting mad at her mom, probably after the emotions are suppressed and anxiety is kind of controlling Riley. There's a shot of Riley graduating, and there's this shot right here where anxiety says Operation New Riley begins. The only difference about this shot now is that we actually see Joy's hair, which means that Joy and probably the other emotions are watching anxiety do something to headquarters. Joy, anger, fear, and all the other emotions. I mean, sadness is gone in a lot of the shots, but they're watching anxiety probably do something horrible to Riley in her head, and they're seeing how it's getting worse and worse and worse. And that's maybe the main driving force as of why they want to go back to headquarters. Not just because it's their home and they need Riley needs them, but they also need to fix this big issue that anxiety is doing. After this, we see a shot where Joy is like, "We just left our best friends behind." Of course, that scene in the trailers when Riley goes off to the new popular kid instead of her old friends. That is something I used to see in school a lot with some of my friends. I lost a lot of my friends in middle school because all they wanted to do was to be with the popular kids. And it seems like this is what's happening here with Riley. She's focusing more on the popular kids, leaving the old and going into the new, which is a line that Anxiety does say in this trailer. Then we see this cool explosion from the safe, which of course it's like this ongoing scene we've been seeing in the trailers where it looks like this is a prison escape. We get another shot of this later in the trailer where Joy is carrying anger as well. And Sadness seems to be in this sequence as well, but when they leave, she seems to be gone. So maybe she's like trapped in the jail cell and they have to find a way to get her back. But this whole jail breakout sequence is going to be really cool, and it's definitely after they get suppressed. Because if you look really closely, or brighten up this image of the characters in the jar, you can actually see a room that looks just like this room. We actually see a returning set piece from the first Inside Out, and that's Imagination Land. Here, it doesn't look too different here. The sign maybe looks a tiny bit different, but the inside looks completely different. We did see in the first movie they did demolish a lot of the old kitty things, like the stuffed animal or like the princess castle, and here there's like a bunch of tents and stuff. So maybe like the French fry forest is gone, and maybe Joy, when she goes inside of this, it's not as glamorous or as beautiful as she used to think it was because everything's kind of been destroyed since your imagination either grows or kind of dies down as you get older. Now, one of the big shots in this trailer that not a lot of people may have noticed is this shot of envy and embarrassment and anxiety all looking really like scared or worried of something that has happened that we don't see in the trailer. And this definitely is in the conflict. And we briefly see anxiety turn her head to envy, which is probably like her saying, "Oh, we need the other emotions back. We shouldn't have suppressed them because they probably have done something so bad to Riley that they need the other characters back before it's too late." And the final shot here is the characters all jumping onto like this hose that sucks all the forgotten memories, and then they jump on top of long term memory, which we've seen concept art of the characters on a boat, and there seems to be like this river or like this weird looking like water that they have to ride on in order to get to a destination instead of them just walking. I do love this as well, but again, where is Sadness? My guess is that she either got stuck at the prison and there's going to be a whole side plot of trying to get her back, but none of the characters seem to even notice that she's gone. But that's pretty much everything that I missed for Inside Out 2. Which one is your guys' favorite new character or new footage or new piece of footage, I should say? Please make sure to subscribe, and until next time, I'll see you guys next time, and goodbye.